I wouldn't know my life would have been this interesting. I would have been keeping journals a long time ago. So this is a hotel. This is a YMCA. You see how little this room is? I mean, it's not much. A little tiny room, a little closet, right? You know, I've been staying here for about a year. But when I was in Hawaii 2012, 2013, I was staying on Schofield Barracks on the Army base. And I remember, I didn't think much of it at the time, but I stayed in contact with my mother and my father. I'm gonna say alleged mother and father because I suspect, I was adopted or something. I don't know if you can get like a new birth certificate for somebody, because even the age when I was born, my parents was like around their 40s or 50s or something like that. I forget the exact age from the day I was born, but they was definitely older. They was like 40s, 50s. Most people don't have children at that age. And then my sisters, I'm gonna say my alleged sisters, because I don't even think we got the same parents. Two of them, they were about the same age, but the youngest one was like 12 years older than me, something like that, 12, 13 years older than me. So most people don't have two children around, 2, 3 years apart and wait 12 years, 13 years later to have another child when they're 40 years old. But I never thought about this when I was younger, and it's funny to me, like I read like a lot of memoirs and biographies, and people always talk about their childhood, how they grew up, and all. To me that is silly. It's like, because when most people talk about it, they say like what they cereal they ate and all this sort of silly bullshit. But like with me, this is like damn near a testament to God's protection and mercy, whatever. Because most people don't make it wouldn't have made, don't survive dealing with crazy people and shit like that, Like, so I remember when I was in Hawaii 2012, my mother used to call me my alleged mother, and she would always kind of talk like a robot. She would be like, "Oh, how's the weather?" So you see this Hawaii right here, right? It's pretty much like that every day. It's not like it doesn't snow. It doesn't, you don't really get like hurricanes and shit like that around here like you do in Florida and New Orleans. But every time she would call me, like in 2012 when I was here, 2013, she'd be like, "Oh, how you doing? How's the weather? I just want to see you, make sure you're okay." Like in those horror movies, like Sinners, where they're like, "Yeah, we just want to come in and play." And the white guy came and he was like, "No, you can't come in." He's like, "Yeah, we could play, And they're looking like a zombie and shit. That's how kind of like my mom act. And then when she talk, it's not like expressive. It's like talking like a zombie and shit like that. Like I said, when I was here in 2012, the only thing she asked me, "Yeah, how's the weather? Are you okay?" That's not how like a loving parent talks to their child. Just blank statements. If I'm in Hawaii, the weather's the same every fucking day. You ain't gotta ask me that every time you call me. And then that's it. I just wanna know you're okay. So I didn't realize it at the time because I really didn't give a fuck. And I was buying pussy, messing with prostitutes and all that. And even when I was younger, I really didn't care too much about, I was just playing video games, whatever. I didn't really think about my parents too much like that, So it's not like I wish that, they would have spent more time with me, shit like that. Like before I get into this letter right here though, I remember one time, because I would go to church when I was little, and I started reading the Bible for myself like around 10, 11 or whatever. So by the time I was like maybe 13, 14, 15, something like that, I got to like the Leviticus and eventually I got up to Leviticus, Deuteronomy, whatever. And then it has the food laws. And then in Acts it has where God appeared to Peter and he had the vision of the unclean animals, and Peter told God he doesn't eat unclean animals, and then God told him it's a parable that his people not clean. It was a parable for humans. And it's a simple scripture in the Bible. It's easy to understand. It's not like Revelation where it's 7 beasts and 7 heads and all this figurative shit you can't understand. Like Acts is pretty straightforward, easy to understand, right? So I remember when I was younger, I grew up in Michigan, whatever, and I told my mom, I was like, I found out about the health food laws. I was like, oh, you're not supposed to eat pork, Leviticus 11, you're not supposed to eat fish without fins and scales, all the food laws in the Bible, right? And then I remember my mother told me, my alleged mother, she told me, in Acts, God said all animals are clean. This is the kind of stupidity I had to deal with growing up. You would think, you would think nobody would be, I'm not saying I'm Einstein, but to deal with this level of stupidity, most people wouldn't come out kind of half intelligent, And it's plain as day in the Bible that there's health food laws. Obviously, you can't eat any animal because you have poisonous snakes and venomous frogs. And so it's obvious animals that people can't eat. You don't need to believe in God, the Bible, to understand that. But in Leviticus 11, they do have the food laws, what people are supposed to eat, whatever. And my mother told me when I was younger, she was like, God said all food is clean. So she would say stupid shit like that, I remember even my sister, I told her, this was later on in like 2021, I was in Detroit, Michigan, and I went to a Scientology place. I'm not a Scientologist, but I just went there to see like what it's about, what books they sell, whatever. Because I always hear people talking about it. I just wanted to see for myself. I didn't even know they had a location near Detroit until 2021, and I was born in 1984, so I don't go to no Scientology meetings and no shit like that. But I just went there to see like what books they, whatever. So when I came back home that day, I told my sister, yeah, I went to the Scientology, and this is my older sister. I got a younger one and an older one, alleged, because I don't even think we blood related. But anyway, I told her, yeah, I went to the Scientology. She's like, ain't Scientology and Christian the same thing? This is the level of the kind of stupidity I had to deal with growing up. People just acting, you can't act no more stupid than this. You don't even have to believe in God or be a Christian or be a Muslim or be religious to know that Scientology and Christianity is two different religions. Scientology doesn't even talk about Jesus and God, whatever. So this is the type of, as I kind of like reflect on my childhood, this is the kind of stupidity I had to deal with. But anyway, so I'm not even tripping on that, whatever. But this is kind of like crossing the line right here, right? So first of all, my mother wrote this letter, my alleged mother, I say. And it's 2026. You could write email or send a text message. You ain't got to write. This ain't 1950 where you got to write a letter and shit. So you see this from April 30th, 20 April, 31 March. So this 11 June. And then she put the date on it, June 7th, right? I'm gonna just get straight to the part. Now I'm gonna read the whole thing, but I can't believe this shit. Like I said, like I was just talking about with the food laws and with the Scientology and the Christian. This is type of stupidity. So you see, right? I'm gonna read the whole thing, but I'm just gonna get to the part. So It says right here, still would love to hear from you sometime. I don't talk to her often. She say stupid shit. Yeah, how's the weather? You feeling good? You know, like she's got dementia or some shit. So then she said, how would you like for Carrington to be in Honolulu with you for a short time? Do you think it would be possible at all? Well, keep yourself all safe and do the best you can for Steven. We are all okay. Take care, love, Mom. Are you still in school? So you see right here, right? How would you like for Carrington to be in Honolulu with you for a short time? And she wrote another page right here, some bullshit. So Carrington is my sister's daughter, my niece. I don't even keep in contact with them on a regular basis. First of all, both my sisters have a daughter. So Carrington, she's the daughter of the younger sister. And then my older sister has a daughter too. I don't even keep in contact with them. I don't talk to them on a regular basis, like every week or every month or whatever. Not only that, that's my mother writing that letter. So why the fuck would my mother ask for my niece? Why wouldn't her own mother, my sister, ask me that instead of my mother? Not only that, when both of my nieces, when they were born, and this is why I'm saying alleged, I don't even think we're blood related, because when both of my sisters had their daughters, they didn't tell me they had a baby. Now, what kind of fucking family is that? That's how I'm saying I don't even believe we related, because who that's related to each other as a family is not going to tell their sister or brother, like, hey, I just had a child, I just had a baby. They didn't even tell me. And then you got, like I said, my alleged mother. I guess you could say she's my adopted mother or whatever. I've never got a DNA blood test. I was born in 1984, so. But I know it's common for people to do paternity fraud and shit like that. You know, they'll lie about who the dad is, or I could have been adopted and they got a new birth certificate for me or some shit. I don't know. I have to verify it. I'm going to check it out. But first of all, I don't keep in contact with them on a regular basis. I don't talk to my niece, my niece on a regular basis or whatever, allegedly. Because like I said, when they was born, my sisters didn't even tell me. It shows you kind of family, supposedly family I'm in, right? But it don't matter. I was out in Vegas. I was fucking with hoes. Wasn't even thinking about them anyway. But this is just like over the top, you know. I can understand stupidity, like when I was younger, and just saying stupid shit like, Scientology and Christianity is the same religion. That's stupid shit like that, right? But now when you asking for, first of all, you see this little ass hotel room, right? See, this is a YMCA. So she knows I'm here. Look at this. This is 401 Atkinson Drive 510, right? Then you see I got my magazine. 401 Atkinson. See what I'm saying? I got the Vogue magazine. 401 Atkinson. You know, I got the Billboard. 401 Atkinson. So I've been here for a while, and anybody could look on the map and see it's a YMCA, and I already told her that anyway. So who the fuck in their right mind? Now my mother, she's damn near 80 years old. Who in their right mind would ask their niece? First of all, it's not even the mother asking this. It's my mom, which is her grandmother. Why would the grandmother ask instead of the mother herself? Usually grandparents don't make decisions for their grandchildren. They'll consult with the parents, and the parents will make a decision. But grandparents, they really don't make decisions for their grandchildren. So there's one bed in here. a little tiny ass room, one little tiny ass bathroom with, it's not even a real door, it's a sliding door. So, I mean, it closes a little, basically, but still, I wouldn't feel comfortable, even if this was a 2-bedroom, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with no little 10-year-old female or baby or child in here sharing a bathroom, and then it's a little ass closet. Where the fuck she gonna put her clothes? I wouldn't want her to come, period, even if I had a house. Anyway, first of all, my parents, okay. See, that's the address. Magnolia Parkway, Southfield, Michigan. I've been there before. I grew up in a different house than that. And then they had moved to Canton, Michigan, to some townhouse. And then for a minute they were staying in Forsyth, Georgia. But anyway, I've been to this house right here. It's got a basement, it's got 3 bedrooms, you know, a kitchen, a living room, you know. So why would you want a child, a girl child, to come here in a little ass hotel? What the fuck I'm gonna do with some 10-year-old? Where I'm gonna take her to? Because I'm the only one that's, let's just in theory, let's say I did say yeah, and she came, which probably wouldn't happen. I think she just asked me this bullshit to try and set me up as a pedophile or some shit. You got evil people like that are trying. I mean, you got people out here that kill people, murder and rape. You got evil people out here like that. Like, I wouldn't put that past my mother trying to do some shit like that. Because why would you act? It don't even make no sense to ask for a female child that's living in a house to come stay with an uncle that she don't even keep in touch with in a little ass hotel with 1 bed. Where the fuck we gonna sleep in the same bed? What the fuck sense? You know, that's the stupidity I had to deal with growing up. And I could give a bunch of examples dealing with my parents' shit they would say and do when I was growing up. That's why I don't even think they my real parents, whatever. But, you know, I didn't really think much about it growing up, and after I went to the army and whatever, you know. But this is just over the top right here when you ask, you know, some little girl to come, you know, because, you know, that whole pedophile shit, that's serious. That, you know, and people be trying to set people up too. It ain't just like with cops when they try and catch drug dealers, an undercover cop will offer to sell drugs and then they'll set people up. So they do the same thing with pedophiles and prostitutes and all that. You know, it's not just people just sit idly by, they try and set you up. You know, like when people go on dates with these little 13-year-olds, and then there'd be an undercover cop, and then the guy see the ad online and call, and then they go arrest him and shit like that. So I think this is what my mother, alleged mother, trying to do. Trying to see, first of all, I buy pussy from prostitutes. I've been with porn stars. I got a porn star video with Eliza Lure, a white porn star, big titties. I don't fuck with little children and shit like that. Second of all, I don't even really be around, because that's my niece. It ain't my, like I said, it ain't my child. And like I said, even when it was born, my sister didn't even tell me it was born. You know, so this is just one of the many little quirky things, silly ass shit I've had to deal with in my life. I've had all types of bullshit. I guess it's quirky or weird or whatever you want to call it. But this is just like over the top, you know. And I've been dealing with, I'm 40 years old. I've been dealing with this shit, a lot of little bullshit since I was little. But this is just over the top now, because, you know, it's not just me. Now you talking about a little child, a female. Where the fuck we gonna sleep in the same bed? You can't even sleep 2 people in that bed, Uh, First of all, and then that's her grandmother. You see what I'm saying? So that's it right there, June 11th. So you see June 7th, and I'll show you the house too, cause it's not in a bad neighborhood. The house. I mean, it's not a brand new house or whatever, but it's livable. You know, it's not in a little trash place. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So yeah, see that's Southfield Road Freeway, and see 8 Mile. How Eminem talk about 8 Mile. So that's where. But I didn't grow up there. But Southfield is a tiny city, it's like a suburb of Detroit, whatever. So where is it at? Okay, so now I'm going. Hold on. Now I'm gonna show you. So that's what the house looked like. So hold on. So that's my sister's car. That's the older sister. That's not Carrington's mother. That's the other sister. Then that's my dad's car, the Mustang, and that's the house right there. And then, you know, the neighbors, whoever the fuck, they really don't. It's not really. They have the neighbors don't say shit to me. I don't know if my parents know them, who they are. Now this is how. It's so much more to this shit. First of all, I'm guessing my mother is like a police informant or some shit. Okay, yeah. So that's Carrington's mother's car. So that's a Saturn or whatever that is. Yeah. So it's a neighbor right there. I talked to him before. So let me show y'all something, right? I've been dealing with these police informants since I was actually in the Army, since like 2000, even here in Hawaii when I was here in 2013. And they follow me around, do all this little funny shit. So I'm just gonna show y'all something, right? So imagine, okay, so this is the house right here. This is, hold on. See, 19225 Magnolia Parkway, Southfield, Michigan. See that right there, right? Now, sometimes when I was staying here, I was driving. And sometimes I would like come out in the car right there, like when I was parked. Sometimes they'll be going whatever, and I'll just come out and I'll have the car parked and I'll smoke in the car. So I remember literally one day, right? I was just smoking, and I was just out there in the driveway, smoking in the car, right? This was back in like 2021, something like that. Maybe 2009. I can't remember, because I went back and forth there. I went there in 2019, 2021, whatever. So I was in the car smoking, right? And this neighbor across the street, not this one, but let me show you. Okay, so this neighbor right here, this house right here. So that's the house right there with the cars. So I was in the driveway smoking. I came outside, right? This back into like 2019 or 2021 or something like that. I came out the garage. I've been sitting there for like a couple months or whatever, just visiting or whatever. And I would like go and leave and go to Vegas, come back, whatever like that. And I went in the driveway. So I'm in the car. So I go and sit in the car, close the door. I'm just sitting in the driveway. I didn't even leave the driveway. So Then the police come, Southfield police. So they drive up and they park kind of like where their car is parked at, like right in front of the house. And I'm sitting in the driveway smoking in the car, right? So I'm looking like, okay, what the police doing over here? Because they don't patrol the neighborhoods, you know. They don't patrol the house. They don't just drive through by the houses and neighborhoods just for no reason. They come if somebody calls them. So the cop comes, parks like right in front of my parents' house, whatever, my alleged parents, whatever. Gets out the car. I'm thinking he got to come up to my house where I'm sitting driving at, smoking at, right? I'm just sitting in the driveway smoking. So he parks like right in front of my house. Then he walks across the street to this bitch house right here. There's some black bitch stay at this house. He walks up to the door and he talks to her for maybe like 5 minutes. And she's like pointing across the street at me and all this shit. It's some old black bitch. See, in Detroit, you got a lot of like scammers and frauds and people murdering each other and shit. This is in Southfield, but you still got people like that. A lot of these black motherfuckers be selling drugs and killing niggas and shit, and then parents be killing their children killing their parents. It's all kind of crime going on like that, right? So the bitch across the street, she like pointing towards my house, you know what I'm saying? And I can see her. I'm across the street, and the cop parked in front of my house. So why the fuck would you park right there and walk across to that house right there? It's obvious they called him for something about me. And then when she was talking to him, she was like pointing across the street towards my house, right, or my parents' house. So they talked with each other about 5 minutes, and you could tell she's kind of like nervous, and she's, you know, it looked like she's talking bullshit, like, you know, some ghetto black bitch or whatever. And I've seen them over there, a bunch of people over there. They look like police informants too. I've seen them, like people walking around with a stick in their hand. Kind of the same shit they do here in Hawaii, and I've seen them do the same shit in Phoenix or whatever. It's like they're fucking zombies, you know. It kind of reminded me how my mother was when I was younger. That's why I say she probably was a police informant, but I just didn't recognize it when I was younger because I didn't know what to look for or how police informants act or whatever. So this bitch across the street, whatever, she talked to the cop for like 5 minutes. He doesn't write no report. I was sitting there in the car watching him the whole time. He doesn't write no report or take no notes or nothing. He just talks to her for 5 minutes. Then he gets in the car and leaves. They do the same shit to me here in Hawaii. If I go to the library or the mall or the movies or the beach, wherever I go, some cop pulls up, talks to somebody about some bullshit, and then they'll pull off or whatever. Same shit this bitch did when I was here at my parents' house, my alleged parents or adopted parents or whatever the fuck. I gotta get I guess I gotta get a DNA test. I don't know if I could force them to do that, whatever. So I could go on and on about the little bullshit I have to deal with these people. But that's petty little bullshit to me, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cops, everybody know cops harass black people, racist white people harass black people, big deal. That's been going on since slavery, right? But once you get children involved, like female children, and you get into you know, whatever they be doing, these cults, different, you know, secret groups, whatever the fuck they do with children and shit. Now that's a whole nother type of evil, you know what I'm saying? If you just want to kill somebody, you get some life insurance. That happens all the time, you know. That's just regular, normal evil. But when you start trafficking children, doing things with little girls and shit, that's another type of evil, you know what I'm saying? So like with me, I get it, you know. I used to watch news growing up, you know. Niggas get shot and robbed. That's just normal in Detroit, you know. No big deal there. That just happens every day in Detroit, you know. But when you start talking about, you know, this shit right here, be with you in Honolulu for some time, whatever. I don't know nothing about the little girl's schedule when she go to school. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really keep in touch with her. Like I said, my sister didn't even tell me when she was born. So, okay, obviously you don't even want me to know you had a baby anyway. You ain't tell me when the motherfucker was born, and we not even real close like that. That's why I don't even think we really blood related anyway. And with the age difference and all that. And this is another thing you gotta keep in mind with these police informants. So this is my alleged mother, right? She's black, right? It's not her doing this on her own free will. It's these racist ass white motherfuckers that enable this shit. My mother, she was born in, or I'll say I'll just call my mother. She was born in Georgia back in the 1950s and 1940s or some shit like that. So she kind of still grew up around when it was like Jim Crow, and so she kind of got that slave mentality, a little kind of that southern slave mentality where you gotta like kiss white people ass and all that shit. Even though a lot of these white motherfuckers stupid as hell and strung out on drugs, on meth and fentanyl and shit. I can understand like a Warren Buffett, like a respectable white person. Just because somebody's white doesn't mean they're respectable. They got drug addicts and criminals too, you know. But to these like people with the slave mentality, they like look at all white people as like they're honorable and respectful, you know, because back during Jim Crow and slavery, they could kill you, and you know, especially in the South, they could just kill you, whatever, if you say something stupid or whatever, you know. So that's what that kind of slave mentality I'm talking about. And this it's the same thing these white motherfuckers been doing since slavery. They would have the black woman have the slave baby. So during slavery, the woman would get pregnant or whatever, had the baby, and don't tell the baby like, hey, you're about to be a slave. These white people gonna abuse you. You know, they just had a baby and give it to the white master, you know. So you got black bitches like that with that same mentality today. They know these white racist ass motherfuckers harass black people, but when they have children, they don't tell the baby like, hey, these white racist motherfuckers out here is doing all this bullshit with black people. This is what you need to know to deal with it. You know, so like it's like modern day slavery, just like, you know, read the 13th Amendment, the Constitution. If you commit a crime, then you're a slave, you know. You have to work in a prison, or they'll put you in a hole, whatever like that. So any black woman that has a child in America and doesn't tell them the history of these racist white motherfuckers is compliant with the bullshit. Just like a black bitch during slavery have a baby is compliant with these motherfuckers taking a baby and making them a slave, you know. When I was growing up, my mother didn't tell me nothing about Jim Crow, about slavery, none of that shit. She didn't teach me nothing about what happened with these white motherfuckers, these racist motherfuckers back when she was growing up. She didn't tell me anything. Now, some people might argue, oh, she was doing that to keep me from being traumatized or some shit like that. But I'll argue that's bullshit, because you should know I'm gonna have to deal with this shit when I get older. So if you don't tell me about it and prepare me for it, then kind of being complicit with it and going along with it and just letting it blindside me or whatever. So, like I said before, I just kind of knew that all this kind of stuff in the back of my mind, and I just like, okay, fuck it, I just ain't even gonna mess with them, you know, because I know they on some bullshit, because she say all kind of little stupid shit, and then she's older now too, so. But when you write a letter talking about have a female child, I think Carrington's about 10 or 11 or 12 now. I'm not sure her exact age. But a teenage girl, a baby girl, to come stay in a little ass hotel. Like, and she knows because she wrote the damn letter to this address, so she knows where I'm at. But let's say, even if I had a house out here, why the fuck am I gonna have a niece stay with me that I don't keep in contact with on a regular basis, and I don't know nothing about, and then like it's just me by myself too, right? So what the fuck am I supposed to be, like a 24-hour babysitter? Because I'm gonna have to watch her everywhere she go. You know, she's under 13. She's like, she might be, I'm not sure her exact age, but she's young. She's like 12, 11, whatever, you know. Young enough to where I can't let her go somewhere by herself. So I'm gonna have to be around her 24/7, like by myself. That don't even make no sense. Even if I had a house for her to stay in, you know what I'm saying? Not for no damn niece, cause it ain't my baby, and it's my sister. When she had the baby, didn't even tell me she had her. So that's the type of mother I had. This is like a prime example of the type of bullshit. You can just imagine the type of shit I had to deal with. But from the mentality, the stupidity, you know, that she showed. So growing up, I didn't have cell phones. They didn't even have I was born in 1984. You know, I didn't have cell phones. I didn't take a bunch of pictures and shit. So I really don't have that mentality of, you know, when I go to eat, when I go to the club or whatever, to take a picture. Like, I don't have that mentality. That shit ain't even important to me. But I see now, you know, with younger people, why it's important. Yeah, I get it. But I just don't do like little silly shit. Like, yeah, I'm eating spaghetti or whatever at the Red Lobster or some bullshit, whatever, you know. Little stupid ass videos, dance videos and shit like that. But this is like I said, if I wouldn't have known my life would have been as interesting as it was, I would have been recording, taking pictures a lot more, because I didn't really think of it much of it, you know, because I look at other people as like amazing people. I don't look at myself like I'm, you know, some interesting person or great speaker or whatever like that. You know, I read like over 50 books about Warren Buffett. You know, they say he the best investor ever, made, you know, one of the richest people, you know. So there's other people that I'm interested in. I'm not like full of myself, you know. I don't think I've done nothing great. Yeah, I was in the Army, but I wasn't no general. I wasn't General Patton. I was just a foot soldier, like a specialist, a private, you know, just a low-level, low-ranking soldier. But I do remember when I was in the Army, right? Because I was in for 10 years. I've been to Afghanistan, and I've been to Iraq twice on 2 different occasions. And I think I had like at least 12 awards. So each award has like 3 brackets. So I think I had like 12 awards, so you got like 4 brackets. And then depending on if you have 2 of the same award, you can put like a star on it. And remember, I'm a low-ranking soldier, right? I'm not no sergeant or no general or whatever, but I've been to war zones 3 different times. So I got all these awards and shit. And then, you know, I got stripes on my, you know, on the uniform and shit like that. So, you know, I was at work one day, and this was out in Hawaii too, because this is like after I've gotten all my awards and all that, you know. Over 10 years I was in the service. So some guy, he looked at my uniform, he's like, damn, you got a lot of awards, you know. And I didn't think nothing of it because if you look at like a general or like a lieutenant colonel, somebody who's been in the army for like 20 years or some shit, they gonna have a whole lot of awards, you know. They chest just gonna be full, just all these different brackets and shit. So I look at them like I look at a general like, damn, they got a whole rack of awards, you know. But you know, it's funny to me. Somebody's telling me like, you know, I'm some little low-ranking soldier, and some guy telling me like, man, you got a lot of awards. You know? It's kind of funny, man. You have to be in the military to kind of understand it. But basically, like generals, they have, you know, they've been in a long time. They have all these awards. So you wouldn't expect a low-ranking soldier to have a bunch of awards, you know. But I was in for a long time. But that just shows how lousy of a soldier I was, because I never got promoted to sergeant. I was promoted, but I never got promoted. But I got all these awards, but you know, whatever. And it's really not a lot. I had like 12 or 13 of them or something like that. I even had the fitness award I would wear when we would do PT and stuff. But anyway, yeah. Just throughout my whole life, my mom used to say just stupid shit to me. Like when I would go to Iraq and Afghanistan, we'd be able to call home. And I'll call home, she's like, yeah, you're doing, she would basically, you know, I'm in Iraq, Afghanistan, I'll call, talk to her. She'd be like, yeah, are you okay? Yeah, how's it over there? Bitch, you don't see the fucking TV, it's a war. You see them blew this up and blew that up. What the fuck you mean and how am I? It's a goddamn war, bitch. Can you imagine talking to somebody like that? You would, let's say you were in Russia right now and you fighting in the war with Ukraine, and say you get on the phone with your mother or your wife, and they get on the phone with you, and you in Ukraine at war with Russia, and they ask you some stupid shit like, oh, so how are you doing? How's the weather? Are you eating good? Bitch, we at war with Russia. They over here bombing. What the fuck is you talking about, you dumbass? You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck talks like that? That's what I'm saying. That's why I say my mother in with these racist white motherfuckers. But the way that these white racists work with these secret organizations and shit, they play the background. So, you know, they'll threaten you, your job, your welfare, whatever. And if you don't go along with whatever they're doing, they'll kill you. Kind of like how they did the women during slavery. If the slave woman wouldn't have the baby, they'll just rape her and make her get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll beat her to force her to go along with what the slave master, the racist white guy, was doing. So that's kind of what these white racist people do today. They threaten these black women with losing their job. If they got children, they threaten them that they'll kill their children or do some little funny shit with them in the schools or whatever. They do it in a backhanded, like in a way where you can't be proven, but they, you know, they kind of give them the message, you know, like if a mob boss is like, you know, like Al Capone would be like, yeah, we got a problem, we got to get, you know, take care of. People in the mob know, okay, we got to kill this person. You don't have to say, yeah, we're going to go kill this person and blow this house up. You a mob boss, you just say, yeah, this is a problem, we got to fix this. People understand what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? So that's how these white racist motherfuckers deal with black women. They let them know, like, hey, if you don't do this, you're going to have a problem. And the black woman ain't stupid. They know, okay, there's some racist white motherfucker, they know it's a threat. You know, it's not like a heavy-handed threat, but it's like, you know, like some mob type shit, like offer you can't refuse type threat, you know. So I can't blame my mother completely. She's just gone along with the bullshit most females don't have the audacity to fight back. They're just trying to survive, you know. Most females don't have the mentality of a Harriet Tubman, you know, some warrior princess or some shit. You know, most females, they ain't trying to fight, you know, crazy white motherfuckers, you know. So, and I ain't bringing this shit up to brag. This is just to show God's mercy in my life. Because the only way somebody could deal with a motherfucker like this and not end up dead or in jail, or, you know, like they call it prison to pipeline, is if God intervened some kind of way. Because, you know, you got motherfuckers asking stupid shit like, oh yeah, can you bring some little girl here to visit you in a hotel with one bed? Or asking stupid shit like, yeah, how's the weather? How's it going? In Hawaii, right? Remember, I was back here in 2012, and every time I talk to her, that's what it's like, yeah, how's the weather? It's kind of like in a sarcastic kind of way. So you deal with somebody that's playing, I'm not even gonna say that's playing stupid. I think she was saying exactly what the white man wanted her to say. That's how far these white people got their foot up people ass. And I've seen it here with Asian people too. It's like talking to a goddamn robot. You know how like when parents have children and, you know, the child will get something, some candy or something, and then the parent will tell the child like, hey, say thank you, and then the child says thank you, you know. That's how white people would treat these niggas and these Asian motherfuckers. It's like, you know, like treat them like a little pet dog and shit. Like you tell the dog to sit, or you tell a little child say thank you, and then they say thank you. I've seen black bitches do this. I've seen Asian bitches do this. Even Asian guys. When black guys do this, we call them a coon or a sellout, because you kiss a bootlegger because you're kissing white people's ass. But most people don't go against racist white people. They just kind of go along to get along with these. And most of these motherfuckers is low class people. They're not like Warren Buffett's, Bill Gates, and people. And they might be racist too, but they're not. They're more cordial, you know. You know, they're just not gonna be on your face talking all stupid and shit. You know? But it's kind of like the way the military is. You got high-ranking people and you got foot soldiers. So with racist people, you got the high-ranking racist white people that's in charge, that push the button to make the calls, and then you got your low-ranking white racist people that are foot soldiers and they do the dirty work. And then the system, you know, they use the black bitches, they use Asian people. So this is one book I read, I forget the name of it. Robert Greene recommended it, and it's one of the best books about war. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I got it written down somewhere. But it was talking about like how during like the Roman War or whatever, the Greek Wars or whatever, it's not always black and white. And I know this from being in the army myself. You know, you have traitors, you know. So just because somebody is black don't mean they hate white people. Or just because somebody's white don't mean they hate black people. You can have Asians that can go along with the bullshit, Latinos. But now I'm old enough, I got enough experience, I could tell when somebody's on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like my mom, I had to deal with the shit growing up. So I recognized it, but I just didn't know how to explain it growing up. But now I know, like, just like when you learn to speak, like when I learned this, first learned to speak, I didn't know my alphabet. I didn't know what a vowel and a noun was and shit. All I knew was just how to speak when I was growing up. You know, hey, I want some cake, you know. I want to go ride a bike. I want to play basketball. I could speak, but I didn't understand the structure of language, nouns and vowels and sentences and how to write. And I just knew how to speak, right? It's the same thing dealing with these old races. You got all types of people. You got organized crime, basically, and these little secret groups, and they all kind of intermingle together, or they all kind of have a connected one way, one to another, or whatever. It's kind of like how, like, with the military, right? So I was in the Army, but the Army is part of the military. So you have the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and we all work together. So if you look at, if somebody say, like, this is how you can tell if somebody understands war and the military. If they tell you some bullshit like, oh yeah, I'm in the Army, I'm in the Navy, and that's it, they really don't understand that, at least with the United States military, the Navy, the Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army, we're interconnected. It's all part of the Department of War, Department of Defense, or Department of War, whatever. It's interconnected. It's just one branch of the military. It's not its own entity or whatever. It's a branch of an entity. You see what I'm saying? So that's how kind of like organized crime is. It's people look at different groups. It's like, oh, this group over here is whatever. This is a secret group here, and this is these people here, and they look at them as like they're their own entity, but it's part of a branch of organized crime. If you understand the mob, I lived out in Vegas for a while, so I understand this. They would have cover-ups. You know, you have a legit business, a laundry mat, and you use it to clean the money up from drugs or whatever the fuck you was doing. Just like with sports, I say out in Vegas, why you gamble on sports. A lot of people look at sports like, oh, this team can beat this team, but they don't understand, like, you got people taking payoffs and cutting points. You know what I'm saying? The mob, they'll pay somebody, hey, we're gonna pay this person $10,000. You drop 10 points, so we're gonna pay this boxer to take a fall in the 4th round. Once you understand gambling and the mob in Vegas, you've been to Vegas for a while, you understand how this works behind the scenes. But a person, like, when I was younger, I just like played sports and watched basketball and football and shit, and I didn't understand, like, oh, it's people that make bets, and then, you know, somebody, it's people that's been caught and had to go to jail and pay fines for this. You know, I'm not just making this shit up. You know, you pay some player to drop a point or whatever like that. So I can see past people's bullshit. You know, I understand. I could talk about it from a military perspective. I could talk about it from a sports perspective. I could talk about it from a prostitution, drug dealing, crime mob perspective. I could talk about it from a racial perspective. But like I said, when I was younger, I didn't know how to explain it. I just saw what was going on, you know, but I didn't know, you know. But like I said, this is just so over the top, man. I think she doing this bullshit so she could, basically, I think the reason she would even ask me that is just to set me up as like some pedophile or some shit. Because like I said, let's say I did say yes. First of all, nobody in their right mind would say yes, because what the fuck, I only got what the fuck I'm gonna sleep on the floor with. But let's say for some reason I did say yes, for some crazy reason. They're gonna be like, oh, you like Michael Jackson, like Neverland, pedophile, with y'all sleeping in the same bed, in the same room, and you with her all the time, because I'm gonna have to be with her all the time, right? So that's why I think she writing this shit, and I think she's doing it because it's some old racist white motherfucker trying to set me up. I already know these people been trying to set me up. These white, basically, what it's always been a group of white people in America trying to set people up, black people up, to go to jail for a crime. Because the 13th Amendment, if you commit a crime, you're a slave, you go to jail. You got private prisons in America. They're not state prisons, they're private prisons for profit. So you need slave catchers or people to hunt people for crime. And of course they're going to target foundational black Americans. And then they're especially going to be hung up over me because I get a lot of white pussy. I slept with prostitutes and all that. So this is like ABC shit to me, man. These white motherfuckers, some of them are so fucking stupid. Like, I can understand back in the 1850s doing shit like this. You know, when there was no cameras and everybody just believe what white people said, and you know, you could just brute force your will, you know. But nowadays, people know these white people full of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's gotten to the point now with George Floyd, they was talking about getting rid of the police and shit. It used to be police were looked at as like these honorable people who protected their community. But it's so ridiculous that now you even got people saying like, yo, these police is a menace to society, you know. That's how much respect these old racist white people done lost, you know. Because they just out here acting like a damn fool, you know. But what else can you do? They're in desperation. You know, it's just like somebody who sell drugs and they don't have no skills in life. That's the only way they can make money is sell drugs. So they're gonna be desperate, you know. That's how some of these racist white people are. They don't have no skills in life. They can't get a regular job and survive, so they just gotta harass black people. And you know, they get them in jail, they get some state funding or whatever. So these private prisons, they gotta get black people in jail, you know? So I think that's why she wrote me that letter. And I remember a bunch of shit. I could go on and on. But the only thing that made me really even record this video is because she asked about my niece, which is a female with her. And you know, that shit ain't nothing to be taken lightly, dealing with little children, little female children, you know. And it's a desperate move. It just shows how desperate these races are. Because I know she wouldn't do this shit on her own, just off their own mind. Because white guys don't let no black bitch do whatever the fuck she want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you go to China, Japan, they don't just let Chinese females and Japanese females do whatever the fuck they want to do, you know. In Japan, they make it to where the females gotta wear certain white panties to school. They even tell them what color panties they gotta wear to fucking school in Japan. That's how these white guys deal with these black females. A black bitch in America, a white guy, they don't let them just run around and do whatever the fuck they want to do. It seems like that to us black people, because oh, this black girl ratchet and all this, but white people, they be telling the black bitches to act a goddamn fool, like, you know, just to like assert authority over them or whatever. You know, have them write stupid letters, like, you know, say stupid shit, you know.